Hello there, it's time for another energy report, and today is Friday the 5th of May, and today we are moving into the yellow human energy spell. And I'm quite grateful that it stopped raining. I don't know what the weather's like wherever you guys are watching, but I'm back in Yorkshire for a couple of weeks at the moment, and last night it's pretty much rained all night and most of the morning, but it's kind of like done that thing that rain does sometimes, where it just seems to completely clear and change the energy. It's kind of why I like to do these reports on the actual day, because it really feels like a whole new energy has come in this morning. It's a bit like sort of milder somehow, and there's lots of birds singing, which you'll probably hear on the video. I think maybe spring's arrived at last. It's been a late one this year, but I think we might be finally here. Sort of feeling a bit more hopeful. So, yellow human energy. Let's give you a rundown on that then. So, as you can possibly guess, the yellow human energy is quite literally about embodying all that it means to be a human being, and that's the good and the bad. Our human bodies sometimes can feel so fragile and vulnerable. We have limitations either in our physical health or in our mindset, and we have challenges that we face. We can feel quite vulnerable sometimes, and it's kind of balancing that out against the other aspect of just how amazingly resilient the human body can also be when it chooses to, different circumstances, different ends of the extreme. Sometimes our ability to survive, no matter what, is just beyond comprehension. I mean, if you think about just the miracle of life itself, how we come into being is kind of like, there's 1,000,001 chances that we're going to be born when we are. The whole life cycle of conception and two microscopic cells somehow combining to make life, and then the ability of a female body to take that egg and turn it into life. It's like, when you actually get down to the nitty gritty of how life comes into being, it can be a bit mind-blowing. And we're kind of surrounded by risks and accidents waiting to happen. How many of you have had survived near misses? I had a particularly bizarre encounter in my teenage years where I was in a car accident and people were literally, I could hear them outside the car going, "Oh my God, is she alive? Oh yes, I'm here, I'm fine, just let me out the car." The car was a complete wreck, and how on earth I was still in one piece unscathed is mind-blowing to this day. So there's stuff like these miracles happening around us all the time, and bizarrely we're not the most intelligent species. Sometimes you look around at let's say things that other people do, but I have moments myself where brain fog kicks in, or I call it my blonde moments, and you have to sort of stop and wonder sometimes just how the hell the human race has survived as long as it has. But somehow we do. It's and I think the kind of important thing to note here is that we survive because we are so much more powerful than we actually realise we are. I've been doing a course, started a new course, which I will, it's a 12-month course that I just started, but it will unfold over the course of the next year, and I'll share bits and bobs with you as we go along. But one of the things I've been learning just at the moment is how our bodies have quite literally the ability to heal themselves without any medical intervention if certain conditions are in place. And a lot of those conditions relate to our belief systems and what we believe will happen. And this isn't witchcraft or mumbo jumbo, which this sort of topic has often been dismissed as. This is now scientifically proven. Ironically, for the last 50 years, scientists have been using placebos to test the effectiveness of drugs, yet ironically that placebo has proven that the drugs aren't always necessary, that sometimes the sugar pill will be as effective as or more effective even than the drug that they're trying to test. So we've kind of by default created this whole database of data that proves placebo effect works. Belief that something will make you better will work when actually it's nothing. It's like literally a sugar pill. And there's been, as I said, there's a whole database of research, doctors who have specialised in this field, and there's examples of terminal illnesses that have gone into remission without any medical intervention, purely on the power of belief and mindset. Touch a little bit on quantum physics and law of attraction as well. This stuff suggests that our thoughts are like magnets, and this sort of concept fits pretty well with my beliefs and my energy healing, and the idea that we're all just atoms jiggling around in space, and atoms are charged. They're either positive or negative, and they attract like against like. So our thoughts are the same. Our thoughts create these energetic vibrations that attract matching vibrations from the world around us. So when you start to get your head around these kind of concepts, every thought that we think, every word that we speak, all the actions and the choices that we make on a I say day-to-day basis, but without even thinking about them, they are creating the world that we see around us. And that how amazing is that? I mean, that's just mind-blowing, isn't it? When you think so, we human beings literally have the power to create what is happening in the world purely by our thoughts and our speech and our interactions. Yeah, it's so easy to, and we all do it, we get into a drama, we look around at what's going on in our situation, our family circumstances, or and we point the finger and we blame. They did that to me. It's all their fault. That they've injured me, they've hurt me, they've caused me to feel this way. We blame everything that's going on out there for how we're feeling in here, when actually it's the other way around. What we're feeling in here is creating what's happening out there. So I'll give you just a moment to digest that. What are you creating? What are you manifesting by the way that you live your life and the choices that you make? So these yellow signs are all about ripening and fruition. They're a completion of a mini cycle, which for this mini cycle started on the 27th of March with the red Skywalker wave spell. So a useful thing to perhaps do if you feel inclined. If you keep a diary or a journal, I invite you to go back and have a look at what was happening around about the 27th of March or the week or so after that. Not necessarily in your physical world, but thought patterns, perhaps. What were you thinking about? What were you interacting? Who did you see? How did you respond to these situations? Because these are all examples then of what you're creating now with the completion of this cycle. So that can be a really useful thing on a personal level, to give you that personal insight as to how this manifestation works. You know, have you got a sense of completion now? Have you kind of, you know, have things started at that time that are now coming to fruition, or is there still some work to do to either make that happen or to release and let go of whatever it was that was going on? So that's a little something for you to just have a think about in this energy spell as you continue to keep your journals and see how these next 2 weeks unfold. And the other thing that I wanted to draw attention to with regards to this energy is that all the energies have a shadow side. They have a positive and a negative. And this energy is very good at highlighting our weaknesses, our mistakes, our fears, our self-doubts. It's like, you know, almost waving a mirror in front of you and kind of like going, yeah, you're not quite as good as you think you are, not yet. It can feel quite vulnerable, and again, it's that kind of dual angle of what it is to be human. Yes, we're amazing beings, but we also have this sense of vulnerability. But I think the important thing to note and to remember is that our vulnerability is our superpower. It's not a weakness. If we're able to face those fears and those emotions, and to sort of embrace the struggle, embrace the weakness, and share it and connect with other people, and be able to say, yeah, so like, I'm quite aware that I think my voice has been a bit wobbly through this video because it's stuff that I feel really passionate about, and when I get really passionate my voice goes wobbly and I want to cry because there's just so much emotion that bubbles out of me. That's my vulnerability, but you know what, sorry, you know, this is me, and I'm going to share it, and hopefully it will inspire you all to I don't know, to think about something a bit differently. So yeah, we need to embrace that vulnerability, embrace that struggle, own it, accept it, make it your own, take responsibility for your actions, and use that to move forwards in some way. We're very much conditioned to believe that the world isn't safe, but the world is quite literally what we make it. So can we unravel some of those beliefs? Can we turn them on their head and start to believe that the world is there to support us? Other people are there to support us, because collectively and globally the energy that we're giving out into the universe is creating what we see in the news and the media, and it's our connection to others, it's in our connection that we begin to really see just how amazing this world can be. So, you know, like I say, show your vulnerability, reach out, make those connections, and just have a think about what messages you want to be sending out. If I'm right, and look, you know, granted I might be wrong, I'm basing my knowledge on partly experts and things that I've read, and partly what I feel in here, and it is an element of my belief. But you know what message? If I'm right and we are creating the world around us, what messages do you want to send out? What world do you want to create? Okay, I think I will leave that with you for this time. Have a wonderful wave spell. I think this is one of my favourite energies. Maybe you can tell that in the way that the videos come across. But yeah, go out there and be amazing human beings, and I'll check in with you again soon. Bye for now.